14 votes stand between Hichilema and Bill 7, Zambia's political showdown explained. Tonight, Zambia stands at the edge of a political knife. President Hakainde Hichilema needs exactly 14 votes to push Bill 7 across the finish line. Just 14. But where will they come from? Who is resisting? And what happens if he fails? Flash images of Parliament, Bill 7 documents, MPs walking out, and civil society protests. This is not just another bill. This could reshape Zambia's political future, and the countdown has officially begun. Stay with me, because what we uncover in the next few minutes will change how you see the 2026 election battle. Good day, viewers. Welcome to another edition of the InspirAfrica Official. I'm Nakash. Well, it's been quite a week here in southern Africa, hasn't it? The rains are coming, the streets are buzzing, and as always, politics never sleeps. And speaking of politics, today we're diving deep into what could be the most consequential political battle in Zambia since the 2021 elections. Our lead story, 14 votes stand between Hichilema and Bill 7, Zambia's political showdown explained. Picture this, if you will. A nation on edge. A president who swept into power promising democratic renewal, now accused of the very constitutional manipulation he once marched against. Behind closed doors, whispers of 3 million kwacha changing hands. In the streets, bishops dressed in black. In parliament, a mathematical cliff edge. How did Zambia arrive at this moment? How does a leader who won with 59% of the vote find himself 14 votes short of rewriting the very constitution that brought him to power? What happens when all three church mother bodies, Catholic, Anglican, and Evangelical, unite against a sitting president? And when does constitutional reform become constitutional manipulation? Is this about better representation for women, youth, and persons with disabilities, as the government claims? Or is it about redrawing the electoral map to ensure one party's dominance for a generation? Why would a president rush constitutional amendments just months before a general election unless time itself has become his enemy? And perhaps most disturbingly, if members of parliament are being offered millions to betray their constituents, what does that say about the state of Zambian democracy? The stakes could not be higher. The clock is ticking. And 14 votes stand between legitimacy and legacy, between reform and ruin. Factual foundation, background and timeline. The revelation came to light in late November 2025, when political scholar Dr. Sishiwa made a stunning public allegation. Some members of parliament were being offered up to 3 million kwacha each to support Constitutional Amendment Bill No. 7. But to understand how we got here, we need to rewind. Bill 7 was first tabled in Parliament in May 2025 by the Ministry of Justice. The legislation proposed expanding the National Assembly from 156 to 211 elected members, a massive increase of 55 seats. It introduced a mixed-member proportional representation system, removed two-term limits for local government leaders, and revised electoral procedures. The government framed it as modernization, inclusivity, and better representation. But on June 27, 2025, the Constitutional Court dealt the bill a devastating blow. In a landmark ruling, the court declared Bill 7 unconstitutional, citing lack of wide public consultation as required under Article 79 of the Constitution. The court emphasized that constitutional reforms must be people-driven, not imposed by the executive or legislature. That should have been the end. It wasn't. In October 2025, President Hakainde Hichilema appointed a 25-member technical committee tasked with nationwide consultations. The committee worked at breakneck speed, gathering over 11,860 submissions in just 2 months. On December 2, 2025, Committee Vice Chairperson Landalani Banda handed the report to the President at State House, declaring it the second highest recorded submissions in Zambian constitutional history. President Hichilema accepted the report and announced that Bill 7 would proceed to Parliament, despite the Constitutional Court's earlier ruling, despite opposition from civil society, despite warnings from the Oasis Forum, the country's leading coalition of church and civic organizations. By early December 2025, the mathematics became brutally clear. To pass Bill 7, President Hichilema needs a 2/3 majority of the 165 sitting MPs. That's 111 votes. His UPND party controls 97 seats. He is 14 votes short. 14 votes. That's the gap between the president's ambition and political reality. And according to Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, a vocal opposition figure, the president is very confident that he has bought enough numbers from the independents and renegade MPs from the opposition Patriotic Front to meet the 111 threshold. Direct evidence. The bribery allegations exploded into public view when Dr. Sishiwa went on record. Speaking during a KBN TV analysis program, he stated that financial incentives were at the center of the push for Bill 7. Dr. Sishiwa said, some MPs were approached and offered 3 million kwacha each to support Bill 7. The arrangement involved an initial payment of 1.5 million kwacha before the vote and the balance after the vote. He added that the information came from individuals with direct knowledge of the discussions. His exact words, the information was provided by individuals with direct knowledge of the discussions. The allegations sent shockwaves through Zambian politics. Patriotic Front parliamentary leader Brian Mundable responded immediately. During a media briefing in Lusaka, Mundable didn't mince words. He declared, Constitutional Amendment Bill No. 7 has already been rejected by Zambians and should not proceed. Mundable went further, issuing a direct challenge to any MPs who might have accepted payments. He said, we are aware that some MPs have allegedly been or will be bribed with substantial funds, specifically K3 million each, to support the bill. We will ensure that these MPs are held accountable for their actions. The people will not forget those who betrayed their trust. He added, with unmistakable emotion, it is shameful that lawmakers would accept money at a time when elderly farmers are sleeping at FRA depots, waiting to be paid for their grain. Mundable called on those MPs to return the money immediately. PF Chairperson for Legal Affairs George Chisanga doubled down on the allegations. Speaking at the same briefing, Chisanga stated, those under the real leadership of the Patriotic Front were not among those implicated by Dr. Sishiwa. He announced that the PF would engage Dr. Sishiwa to obtain the names of the allegedly compromised MPs. His language was unequivocal. They can be decampaigned in their constituencies for betraying public trust. Chisanga went even further, pledging that PF MPs are ready to sign social contracts with the public. He said, they are ready to sign social contracts with the public declaring that they will not support Bill 7 under any circumstance. Meanwhile, expelled Mafinga MP Robert Shabinga has reportedly taken the opposite stance. According to Ambassador Mwamba, Shabinga has pledged to mobilize renegade MPs to vote for the bill. On the government side, President Hichilema has maintained a different tone. Speaking after receiving the technical committee report, he said, the 2-month nationwide consultation was professional and disciplined. The committee received 11,860 submissions, the highest number ever recorded in any constitutional review effort. He thanked contributors, stating, their input reaffirmed our collective commitment to building a better Zambia for all. But behind closed doors, a different story emerged. According to reports from a State House meeting with the Oasis Forum, after cameras were switched off and media was asked to leave, the president delivered a blunt ultimatum. As reported by observers present, President Hichilema told the Oasis Forum that if they object to Bill 7 they should either take the matter to court or lobby members of parliament not to vote for it. The contrast was stark. On camera, consultation. Off camera, ultimatum. Oasis Forum chairperson Beauty Kadebe had entered that meeting calling for constitutional clarity. She urged the president to withdraw Bill 7 and instead prioritize the Bill of Rights. Her message, reportedly, was swept aside. Deeper analysis, implications and reactions. So what is really at stake here? The government argues Bill 7 is about inclusion. They point to provisions for reserved seats for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. They cite the 11,000 submissions as evidence of popular support. Students from higher learning institutions, rural civil society organizations, and certain religious leaders have backed the process. Anzesu President Kabazo Mwanto, speaking for student bodies, told President Hichilema, young people have given President Hichilema approval to proceed with taking the bill to Parliament. Solomon Ngoma, representing a consortium of 8 CSOs, declared at State House, there is no civil society organization that is bigger than another. No church is more Zambian than others. Thousands submitted to this process. But critics see something far more sinister. The core concern revolves around delimitation, the redrawing of constituency boundaries. Opposition figures and analysts argue that the 55 new constituencies are disproportionately concentrated in UPND strongholds, southern, western, northwestern, and parts of central province. One social media analysis put it bluntly: if Northwestern Province ends up with 20 constituencies from 12, Western Province 28 from 19, Southern Province 29 from 18, and Central Province 22 from 15, meanwhile Luapula, Northern, Eastern, Copperbelt, Lusaka and Machinga get 2 to 3 seats, the legislative power is being skewed to 3 regions. The implications are profound. Whoever controls the legislature controls the country. With a skewed parliament, constitutional protections like the 50+1 presidential threshold, the running mate provision, and even the 2-term limit could potentially be reversed. Dr. Sishawa's analysis alleges that President Hichilema is pursuing delimitation to secure internal party cohesion, expand parliamentary control and shape the political landscape ahead of the 2026 election. Socialist Party President Dr. Fred Membe has been even more direct. In a scathing statement, Membe wrote, "A president who refuses to listen to his people no longer has the moral fitness to lead them. A president who manipulates constitutional processes for personal political advantage cannot be trusted with the future of the nation." Membe raised what he called the burning question: what is so urgent in Bill 7 that Mr. Hichilema cannot wait until after the elections? Why is he refusing to listen to the majority of Zambians who have clearly said no? His answer: Bill 7 is crafted to benefit him personally. It is tailored to tilt Zambia's political architecture in favor of those he wishes to empower and permanently weaken those he seeks to silence. The church response has been equally forceful. All 3 church mother bodies, the Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Council of Churches in Zambia, and the Evangelical Fellowship of Zambia, have rejected Bill 7. This unity is historically significant. As one analyst noted, no president has clashed with all 3 church mother bodies and survived politically. But there's another side to this story. Not all religious voices oppose Bill 7. At the State House livestream, Seventh-day Adventist clergy and Pentecostal pastors defended the process. One pastor stated, "Some churches behave as if they own the government. But Zambia belongs to all of us." This internal church division highlights a deeper fracture in Zambian civil society. Does the Oasis Forum speak for all Zambians? Or does it represent, as some government supporters claim, an urban elite disconnected from rural concerns? The Oasis Forum escalated its position in late November, releasing a statement declaring that dialogue has failed and accusing government of continuing an illegal process. Their demands were uncompromising. Withdraw Bill 7 from Parliament. Start a fresh process outside the technical committee. Install an independent legal framework. Delink the process from the 2026 elections. The government responded by suspending further meetings, arguing that the forum arrived with fixed positions and offered no alternatives. Legal opinion remains divided. Constitutional lawyer John Sangwa argues that Bill 7 legally does not exist following the Constitutional Court's ruling. In his analysis, Sangwa stated, "The Constitutional Court has already held that the so-called Constitution of Zambia Amendment Bill No. 7 of 2025 does not exist in law. The President's deferment of the bill cannot revive it." The Law Association of Zambia, through President Lungisani Lungu, has supported the Oasis Forum's calls for peaceful protest, signaling doubt about either the process, content, or timing of the bill. International observers are watching closely. Opposition leaders Harry Kalaba and Dr. Fred Membe have jointly called upon the United Nations, African Union, and SADC to pay close attention to the deteriorating political and social environment in Zambia. They wrote, "Do not wait until there is bloodletting before you act. Preventive diplomacy and clear support for inclusive dialogue are required now." There's also the question of precedent. Zambians remember their history. Kenneth Kaunda responded to public pressure in 1991, restored multi-party democracy, cut his own term short, and was still voted out. Frederick Chiluba manipulated the constitution in 1996, then tried for a third term in 2001. Citizens took to the streets and stopped him. As one commentator noted, Zambia's political history offers one clear lesson: constitutional overreach always backfires. The bribery allegations add another layer of concern. If true, they represent a fundamental corruption of democratic process. Even if false, the fact that they circulate so widely reflects deep mistrust in the system. Parliament adjourns sine die on December 17, 2025. That's the deadline. After that, Parliament dissolves ahead of the 2026 elections. The window is closing. The question now is not whether Bill 7 will reach Parliament, it already has. The question is whether 14 MPs will cross the floor. Whether 3 million kwacha per vote is enough to rewrite a constitution. Whether public pressure can overcome private inducements. And there you have it, viewers. 14 votes. That's all that stands between President Hakainde Hichilema and his constitutional ambitions. 14 MPs who will decide whether Zambia's electoral map is redrawn, whether Parliament is expanded by 55 seats, whether the democratic gains of 2021 are consolidated or compromised. This is not just a Zambian story. This is an African story. Across our continent, we've seen leaders rewrite constitutions to extend their rule. We've seen courts overruled, civil society silenced, and democratic backsliding disguised as reform. Zambia has long been held up as a beacon of peaceful democratic transitions. What happens in Lusaka over the coming weeks will reverberate far beyond its borders. Will those 14 MPs put country over kwacha? Will Parliament defend the constitution or rewrite it? Will Zambian democracy prove resilient, or will it bend to executive pressure? We'll be watching. And we'll be reporting. Thank you so much for watching today's edition. I want to hear from you in the comments below. What do you think about Bill 7? Is President Hichilema justified in pushing these amendments, or is this constitutional manipulation? Should MPs accept money to vote a certain way, especially when farmers are sleeping at FRA depots waiting for payment? And what role should the church play in politics? Let me know your thoughts. Debate civilly. Engage thoughtfully. This is how democracy survives, through informed, active citizens who refuse to be silent. We'll be back tomorrow with more news, more analysis, more stories that matter from across Africa. Until then, this is Nakash, reminding you to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay inspired. God bless you all. Take care.